So that was chaotic.
Mm-hmm.
And we've had some tension in the room here because Mike Ryan and Amin, a real fight broke out. A real, I'm defensive about basketball. How dare you say hockey has become more important than basketball? And we all got, uncomfortable around them shouting at each other. It escalated to MFer for no reason whatsoever. Can we get Amin? Mike is left. I don't know where he is. I hope this doesn't spoil the holiday party that it doesn't seem anyone wants to go to. And Amin is still here. He's flown in. Like he was in Vegas, and he cares deeply about his sport. His sport is under attack, man. Like Adam Silver, it wasn't that long ago that he was the leader of all leaders, and he knew how to be progressive in ways that would make the sport evolve. And since then, basketball has been used as a political tool for its social commentary, and if you go woke, you go broke. NBA, you did all the social justice stuff, and now look at your ratings, and look at how everyone says it's three-pointers or something else. Amin is defensive about his sport for good reason. Like, he cares deeply, cares more than most of the people consuming it.
Yeah, I mean, I would say I care deeply. I don't want to compare, but I think the problem is many of the arguments are straw man arguments. They're red herrings that you guys are following. For instance,
straw man.
Thank you. Forgot we had that sounder. For example, I'll give you an example, Dan. You mentioned it yesterday when I was on the show briefly, but the Bulls and the Hornets played a game where 75 missed three-pointers. And everybody was like, oh, my God, this is why the NBA sucks. And I said, okay, so the headline is two horrible teams play against each other and play in a horrible game, and that's what we're judging the sport on. That's what we're doing? Why don't we judge it off Raiders, Panthers, and NFL? Like we could do this across the board. There are bad teams in every sport, and bad teams play bad games. The reality is everyone who's crying about the lack of a mid-range shot in the NBA or the demise of the mid-range shot is, you look around the league. Does Steph Curry shoot mid-range shots? Yes or no?
Occasionally.
Not occasionally. He shoots quite a few.
If you say so.
Kevin Durant?
Yes.
Devin Booker?
Yeah.
Jimmy Butler?
Sure.
Jason Tatum,
Mm-hmm.
Jaylen Brown,
Yep.
Luka Doncic,
Yeah.
Kyrie Irving.
Yes.
Okay, so it seems to me the mid-range shots we got rid of was from the Eric Snows of the world. That's what you guys are missing.
Carlos Boozer.
You're missing all these guys who.
I do miss Eric Snow. I have to be honest with you. Yeah, you're not certain if it's going to go in. The guy might have
you're pretty certain it's not going to go in.
Right.
Stugotz, you missed the.
But it'll get you 8 assists. I mean,
Stugotz, you missed the Tyrone Hill pick and pop 18-footer.
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
You missed Kurt Thomas on the baseline.
I do actually. Yes, money. Yep.
Udonis Haslem. Remember when he learned how to shoot?
Yeah.
See, like Dan. That's the mid-range shots that got legislated out of our game because basically what we told every role player is, hey, either you're going to make a three to spread the defense out so that Luka and Steph and Kevin Durant can do these amazing things that we all actually paid to see. We want to see those guys do amazing things. So you need to stand out there at the three-point line so the defenders can't just sag and sit right there and help. Or you're going to be an amazing athlete who's going to catch lobs and dunks like Clint Capella and Rudy Gobert and all these guys that just exist for an alley-oop in case someone tries to collapse. What we got out of the game was all the people we didn't want to see shooting. That's what we got. Now, are you going to have nights when people shoot poorly? Yeah, that's the game. But like to base it all on one thing like that, to me, the NBA doesn't have a three-point problem. It doesn't have a load management problem, despite what you guys were ridiculously talking about earlier. What the NBA has is a marketing problem. We don't know how to market our game in a way that's salient. I just came back from Vegas, the NBA Cup. You know who there was an abundance of with great access to everything? Influencers. And that's awesome. These people have millions of followers. They get millions of views on Instagram. You know what the NBA has not yet learned how to monetize? The internet, right? So if we say, hey, the way we make our money more than anything is people watching on TV. Let's market to the number one audience that doesn't watch TV. That's what we're doing. And I'm like, that's the part where we're behind. Or maybe we're ahead. Maybe the NBA says, look, in the future, no one's going to watch TV, and then we'll have the market cornered. For sure. But right now, our metrics for success are not measuring the things that we are going after, and that's your problem. It's not wokeness. It's not load management. It's not three-pointers. It's not any of that.
Yes, still super defensive.
Yep. More defensive.
Yeah. He is. Put it on the poll,
Thorough.
please, Juju. Do you miss the Tyrone Hill pick and pop 18-footer?
How about the Kurt Thomas baseline jet? I mean,
I have a solution. I've seen a lot of people the last few weeks doing the topic of, like, how can we fix basketball? And I'm going to play the game. But
Let's
I have
fix
one.
it.
I have
Yeah.
one that I haven't heard.
let's do it.
You miss 4 straight three-pointers, power play for the other team.
Wow, I love
One
it.
guy leaves the court for a full minute.
I mean, this is a dangerous area.
Wow.
When Billy, Chris,
like
and
it.
Stugotz try to fix your sport, when they try to fix your sport with rule changes, this is a terrible place for your sport to be.
Well, Amin doesn't get to decide for me why basketball is no longer as popular for me as it used to be, okay? You don't get to do that. I am telling you that when I go to games, I never go to games, but if I went to a game, I have questions as to who's going to be playing in that game, and then the style of play is not something I'm a fan of. I don't like 54 threes a game. I don't like it. In fact, you should be limited to 23 attempts per game, and that's it.
Why 23?
That would no 20.
No,
20.
23.
23s.
I thought you
That's
were-
you
it.
said 23.
I thought
That's
you were doing
it.
a Jordan homage.
Yeah. Jordan.
Now, we are trying to change the rules. Greg Cody came to me before the show, and he said to me, 3 should be 2s and 2 should be 3s. I agree with that. I do. He wants a 3-point layup.
Yes.
So, Greg, let me pitch you this. Maybe it's too gimmicky for Greg Cody, but let me give it a try.
We'll
I mean,
see.
2s
I'll
are
be the
3s,
judge
3s
of
are
that.
2s.
So
I mean,
well, I got one better than that, Stugotz. Watch this. In baseball, how far is a home run from home plate?
It depends on the part.
Depends on the park.
From 312 feet to 412 feet.
Right? And we could say that some teams have players that benefit greatly from the way the park is designed, right? What if the three-point line was subjective by NBA Arena? So if I'm Milwaukee, Giannis gets a lot of stuff in the paint. I'm putting the three-point line right there in the paint. Wow. If I'm Golden State, I'm like, no, I want it as far as possible. And now there's a little bit of strategy when you go
like
from
this.
building to building. Hey, how many threes are we taking?
What about the power play thing?
I like the power play thing. I'm not going to lie.
How are you getting sucked into the fixed basketball conversation with ridiculous rules?
How about this? The
What?
paint is a ball pit.
How has Amin gotten
too far.
sucked into having the conversation about how to fix basketball when he doesn't agree that anything other than the marketing has to be fixed?
Because, Dan, I don't mind rule changes. If we're, like, this is it.
Thank you.
Our game has changed rules more than probably any of the other sports. Maybe not football in the last 10 years. Those guys are going crazy.
I mean, Dan thinks we're doing this wacky thing when we try to change
We
the
are.
rules. He laughed at the golden at bat. Now they're seriously considering the
Yes.
golden at bat. We're not doing anything wacky. We're trying to improve the sports that we love. That's all.
Save the sports summer.
All right,
Yes.
so
Right.
let's
Even though
put,
influencers were there.
3-point layup.
let's put a bookmark in it. Thank you.
So good.
Both
He
of
likes
you.
that.
That's perfect show right there. Billy muttering influencers, and then Greg Cody coming in over the top.
Don't you think it would be great if points in the paint counted as 3?
I don't want to do this right now.
A skyhook?
All right, just hold on to it. We'll get back to it. I got to go out to Stoic Roy. I've got to continue our toy drive. You guys forgot that
Roy
we're still
drive.
doing this today. Thank you. The Roy drive. We want an assortment of new and unwrapped gifts. We will be out there tomorrow again. Dolphin Mall, 111401 Northwest 12th Street.
New toys.
Let's go out here to Roy. We're going to be here tomorrow as well, and we're telling you, we're taking gifts 7 a.m. to 2 p.m. Monday through Friday this week. Corner coffee here at the Elser, and I will match whatever toys it is that we get. Let's check in again with Roy. Roy, give us an update there. I see that you are resplendent with more toys than you had before as people come in, from all over America to give you toys. How's it going out there?
Well, it's much, much better now. We've gone from 2 toys to about what seems to be about 15 right now. So we have gained some traction on the toy drive, or the Roy drive, as you like to call it.
Is Rose there? Can it become a Rose drive? Is that Rose doing that in the background? It is Rose. Rose is. You want to bring her
Yes,
over? You want to help
unfortunately, it's
produce
Rose.
your own segment there, Roy? You want to help come
around back or something?
Or you want to wait for a bunch of a team of enablers to come and help Santa Roy be better at producing here? Thank you,
She
Rose.
was doing
Yeah,
the bell,
so-
yeah.
Right, it was Rose doing the bell.
Festive.
Festive, yes, the bell. Thank you, Rose. Roy, can you please ask Rose to give us an update on how things are going out here if she can't hear me? How things are going out there at the toy drive?
It's going great. We're cheering here, Roy, with.
Can you get
this.
low? Can you get lower, Rose?
Yeah, we
Rose,
can't see your head.
Rose, we can't see you.
There we
Thank
go.
you. Yes,
Hi, Rose.
you're too high.
See me
Yes.
now?
Yes, we can see you now. You're dressed like an elf. It's wonderful. Yes, thank you. Give us a toy drive update, please.
It's going great. We've seen a lot of people, so we need more people to come because we need more gifts. But it's going great. We're having fun, right, Roy? Right, Roy?
Sure.
Yeah.
I have a new nickname for Roy this week only. Can I unveil it? Roy Jingle Bell me.
I like it.
Thank you.
I did too. So does Rose.
Thanks,
so does
Greg.
Rose.
You get
Thank
it, Dan?
you. You're welcome, Roy.
No, it's too complicated. It's gone over my head. All right, Rose and Roy, any final words here from the Roy Drive as you go up here? 18 more minutes, a grueling day out in Dolphin Mall on the cusp of the Everglades.
Go. It's her.
Well, please come tomorrow as we continue the toy drive. I heard that Billy might be the one in the Santa costume. That's
Roy, your
the Santa
mustache
hat in
is
this
falling off, and
picture
you
there.
haven't done a good job of
And you heard
producing
wrong.
this segment, and you heard wrong. Thank you for all your good work out there. Appreciate your
I heard
efforts.
wrong.
Yes.
Well, Billy's not showing up?
All right, thank you.
That's a
I don't
fake
know.
beard?
I don't know. We have to talk to Billy. Roy, an excellent job producing yourself and Rose there, as if you've never done radio or television before. I appreciate all your
Thank you,
hard
Dan.
work out there. Yes, excellent broadcasting. Come back home for the holiday party. I'm sure you won't drink too much of the free liquor. Come on back.
You never know.
No, I'm pretty sure I do know. I'm pretty sure I do know that you will drink too much of the free liquor.
Christmas tree Rollins.
I like
Wow.
it.
Yeah,
Very
that's pretty
nice.
good, huh?
I want to do a couple of things with you
Scott
guys.
Frosty the Snowman.
We
Roy
need
Jingle
Jeremy to
Bellamy.
keep
hear what he
working
said?
on those. Yes, those Christmas songs. Cody, your podcast, the Greg Cody Show, featuring Greg Cody,
Thank you.
Fine.
has, I can call him Miami legend, Alonzo Mourning.
I think he is.
Yes, of course he is.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
And he's gone through a really rough year with health issues, and he's been very forward and out front with talking about what he's gone through, and we talked to him about it at length on the podcast. It's actually a pretty serious interview. We get nutty and everything because Christopher's a part of it, and he's asking inane questions that upset Zoe.
Yeah, I'm
but,
pretty sure Zoe hated me.
Yeah, but still, it was a good interview.
Well, I think you guys probably experienced when he says interviewed at length. There is no other kind of interview with Alonzo Mourning. He's a bit wordy.
he can be. That's the beauty of editing.
We tightened it up.
Okay.
What'd you ask him?
Yeah.
Just give us one tease.
What did you ask him that he didn't prefer?
Oh,
Because
Greg.
Well,
Why
hold on.
No, but Greg, this is the Greg.
He has
Setting
no
his
clue.
son up.
Greg,
No, he's not setting me up. He has no clue.
Greg,
Trying
how
to
do you
help.
not know how to promote what's on your own podcast and you have to go, son, what did we do? Like a doddering old man.
yeah, you'd think that he would have been prepared to answer that rather than make an issue of
You
the
tell
fact
him.
that I had asked.
I am prepared. We were making fun of you because you can't answer it.
But Greg, what was the best thing on your podcast? Please don't outsource that. Please answer the question as the host of your own podcast.
The best thing on my podcast was Alonzo Mourning talking very emotionally and about how terrified he was, thinking he was dying, and all that he went through, and why he's coming forward now to alert people to do the same and to get checkups and to be aware of their health. He talked a lot about the Overtown Youth Center that he founded 20 years ago, and about his work in Miami to promote affordable housing in areas that need it. And it's a very good interview.
And then he was also going around his office showing pictures with Obama and just all these people. And I was like, oh, these are all great pictures. Where's the sad photo with you and Jason Capono?
Yeah, he didn't
And
like that.
He didn't like that. He was like, I don't associate with sad.
It's a good question, though. Yeah.
It's
Well-
a very good question.
It's a very good question. You think it's a good question to ask Alonzo Mourning to insult a teammate by saying, hey, that Jason Capono who stunk.
Well, I was just more like, hey, you have all these fun ones. What's the saddest
Yes,
one? I
right.
imagine it's Jason
I
Capono.
am
Right.
not Alonzo Mourning. Not really a laugher.
Well, he doesn't associate with sad either. Kind of in the middle there.
We caught him in a good mood. I think he's in a good mood. Yeah,
It's
it was-
hard to
it
tell
was
where
fun.
you stand with Zoe. I mean, I'm just saying.
I don't
right.
think it is hard to tell.
Really?
I think you better be careful. Yes,
Really?
yes, I think
Huh.
yes, I think Alonzo Mourning over the years has earned the reputation as somebody who can be very stern and serious. And you be careful, don't insult him by being too playful. He's
Right.
Playful's not really his. Not playful among teammates, maybe. Playful among journalists, not so
Right.
much.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's fair.
Do you think Zoe would like the 3-point layup? Or?
Ooh, good question.
I
Did
think
you
he
ask
would.
that?
Yeah, no, you know what? Damn it, I didn't.
Oh, get him back on.
Man.
Can I get some sound here to help Greg Cody promote podcasts in general? The comedian Andrew Santino is on this week's edition of South Beach Sessions. He is climbing very quickly up of comedy ranks, and he has gotten popular friends with famous people. The Kelseys, he has become friends with Patrick Mahomes, and he is a Bears fan. And his fellow Bears fans are yelling at him for rooting for the Chiefs. They say he cannot root for the Chiefs, so he's got something to say to them on the recent edition of South Beach Sessions.
No, but I get so much crap for cheering on Kansas City because everyone online is like, you're a Bears fan, And let me say this to your audience. I am a Bear. I'm a diehard Chicago fan for the rest of my life, okay? But you go get yourself 2 Hall of Fame Super Bowl champion friends. Go get two of them, and then you tell me you're not going to root for their team a little bit, okay? Okay? It pisses me off when people are like, what are you, a sellout? Sellout? 2 of my friends are Hall of Fame current players. What are you not going to root for them? What are you talking about?
You need to not be friends with them so that you can only root for the Bears.
That's insane. That's an insane, like, this is an ideology that I think America still has where they're like, you can't do that. You sell out. You cross it over there. Really, dude?
The fans are right. I mean, they should be outraged. Not a Bears fan.
Plus, his friends aren't technically in the Hall of Fame yet.
Right.
I mean, that's being a little presumptuous.
Yes.
Which one of them do you not see going to the Hall of Fame?
Either.
Either of them.
What?
No, they got a long way to go.
They are playing their
Got
way
to
out
win a
of
couple
it.
of more rings.
They don't have a long way to go. They'd both be in the Hall of Fame if their careers ended today.
We'll see about that.
No,
A little if their careers ended today.
Oh, I like that.
I like this spin on this
I'm
game.
with Dan on this one, Greg.
They would both be in the Hall of
5 years
Fame
from the day. Yeah.
No, not 5 years from the day. If their career ended today, they should walk
Straight to the Hall of Fame?
Not even take off their uniform. Just walk straight to the Hall of Fame, both of them.
How about Russell Wilson? If career ended today. Because he played his way in and then out, but now he's had another good season.
He's inching back.
reinventing himself.
Yeah. What do you think, Dan?
Billy, thank you for bringing that up. I do appreciate it. Let's talk about that Aaron Rodgers documentary.
You guys watch that yet or what?
No, I see it every weekend.
I Dan, you like documentaries. We know this. I find myself falling for the traps of the documentaries. So I texted 2 people. I saw that the Aaron Rodgers one came out yesterday, and I was like, well, this is going to be a talking point. I should probably watch this. But it's 3 parts, and I started watching at 9:30 at night, which is usually when I fall asleep. So I knew it was going to be a task to watch all 3 episodes last night, but I texted 2 different people when I started. I go, I'm mentally preparing myself to like Aaron Rodgers when this is done. Because that's how these documentaries always go. You always end up thinking like, oh, Joe Exotic is really not that bad a guy. And it's like, well, he kind of is. So, like, all these documentaries make you sympathetic towards the person and then, like, somewhat liking them at the end. So I went in there saying, I'm probably going to like Aaron Rodgers when this is done. Not that I dislike him now. I'm just like, I feel like it's going to be very pro Aaron Rodgers. I kind of feel bad for him. What? Like, watching it. Yeah.
The family stuff?
It just... And you guys can watch it, and I'm not going to give you too much information. It's incredible access. And I also realize no one is living life without a camera crew around them anymore in 2024 because this starts pre-Jets injury. Like, he already had the camera crew there. He was already doing stuff before he got injured. And then you're kind of are then following him as he got injured through his recovery. Then you're kind of going back in time, learning about how he kind of came up through the ranks, had to play at a junior college, all that stuff.
So the project started when he joined the Jets?
It started like right before he joined the Jets, I think. And so I don't think this necessarily was supposed to be how it went, but it became this other thing. And then it's broken up into like 3 different episodes, and each episode is like a different story that they're telling about Aaron Rodgers. So far, 2 episodes in, like 2 1/4 in, because I fell asleep in the 3rd. I feel bad for him and it's not the way that you think. I feel bad for him in that, like, he doesn't seem happy. Like, it seems like he spent his entire life wanting one thing, and that was to, get to the NFL. It was to get to Division I school, then it was to get to the NFL, then it was to win the Super Bowl. And he did all of that, and then there just seemed to be, like, an emptiness in him. And now he's just spent the rest of his life trying to fill that feeling and chase, like, meaning, really. So it's kind of sad because he's accomplished all this stuff and seems to still think he's not enough, and he's not really doesn't have this meaning in his life, and he's just kind of seeking it out and searching it in all these different areas.
I would assume, just based on watching a public meltdown that doesn't have any precedent for me in terms of how a superstar has disintegrated for years into being one thing, then becoming something else. I have thought, watching from afar, as his family stuff has become uniquely public for an athlete, that part of the problem at every turn is that joy is only so joyous if it isn't shared with people. Like if he's having trouble with his relationships with women and he's having trouble navigating fame and he doesn't have his family to share any of it with, like, who's Aaron Rodgers sharing love with? They're going to be friends and stuff, but the journey he's taken over the last few years, I don't know who those friends are, what they look like, or how distorted his entire life has gotten, because he's gotten sort of brain-fried internet rot brain, and I don't know who's telling him much of anything about, like, hey, Aaron, are you, like, with the rest of us? Or are you just over there still on McAfee at 4 and 10 talking about show me your vax status when we're all looking at your season and the end of your career and saying, man, you were really one of the best to ever do this. Why does it have to look like this at the end?
He was a 4-time MVP. From what Billy is saying, though, it also seems like, and Dan, you have discussed this, we have discussed this a lot over 20 years, is reaching the pinnacle of your profession at such an early age. And then what do I do when this is done?
Oh, but he's still enjoying, like, nobody gets this long. I know we've made advancements with medicine and everything else, but somebody's going to want him next year. Because
the Jets.
The last month, okay, he's looked like he can move around.
He's been good.
And he's been really accurate, and he's again playing for his job, and that's not normal at that age. But I have seen what Stugotz's Jets have done over 40 years.
Nothing.
I thought Aaron Rodgers over the last 4 games would have been what they were getting all season. They have lost 7 one-score games, 0-7. I thought Aaron Rodgers was there, so that would be 7-0.
Yep.
And so if they're 7-0, like I thought, well, if I replace Zach Wilson with Aaron Rodgers, and he thought that's how it would go. That's why he's doing that whole documentary. He thought he was going to be great in New York because he's one of the best to ever do it. Like, that's not up for dispute. I'm not going to have that erased by the last 3 years.
It's not really like a football documentary, though. Like, his rehab is covered, and you're kind of seeing how he's trying to get back. But, like, it tells his football story, but it's really more like who Aaron Rodgers is and how he got here. Is kind of what it is. Like, it goes back to like his very Christian upbringing, and then the fact that he went to more of a liberal college and how it had him start questioning things because he kind of got out of the bubble that he was in, and then he started really having more questions in life. And then as he had more success and he wasn't finding happiness, he then started looking for happiness and reading books and finding happiness in different places that then take him down these different paths. Like, it's kind of interesting, but like, you do feel bad for him. The one thing that I would say is that, like, some of the stuff, and it's not meant to be judgmental, but some of the stuff that he's like, well, I didn't really want any of this. And it's like, yes and no. Like, yes, you wanted to be a great football player, but like, also, he said that he kind of lost. Like, once he won the Super Bowl, everything changes. He became a public figure. He was never seeking that out or the fame or whatever. And it's like, maybe not, but like, you also decided to be the State Farm guy that kind of really elevated you into like a household name everywhere. So like, there's things like that were decisions that were made. You know, he even alluded to some of the people that he's dated. He even talked about the family stuff to an extent. So, like, there's a lot in there, and you kind of see how he got to where he got to, whether you agree with what he's doing or not. But, like, at the end of the day, judgment aside, like, I just kind of hope he just finds happiness, you know what I mean? And, like, finds some sort of meaning and fulfillment in his life, because that's really what he seems to be searching for, just in places that are not necessarily where you and I would.
The Jets.
Well, yeah, that.
It has seemed over the last 5 years, once you're into ayahuasca, once you're getting to the ayahuasca portion of your journey, you're really searching.
Well, that started earlier than we think, too, if you watch it, because I think he's gone to like 4 or 5 retreats now. And I think it goes back deeper than the initial one that, like, the big one, like a year and a half ago or whatever. Like, he had already done that a couple of different times.
It's one hell of a midlife crisis, man.
I don't know that I would call it a crisis. Like, watching it, like, his behavior is not what I think most people would do, but like, I see how and why he's doing it. I don't necessarily need to agree with it. I just kind of feel bad that He's going through it, and he just feels as though, seemingly, as someone who's just watching a documentary that he produced, he's going through seemingly not, I guess, being truly happy and accepting of himself.
I mean, isn't that the entirety of the journey, though? I don't want to go too self-help on this, but once you get to some form of better self-love that's forgiving for yourself, then you love others better and you allow them to love you better as well. He's probably wandering through life feeling a little alone and empty because of his absence of connections and looking for spiritual enlightenment through ways that kill the ego with ayahuasca, because it seems pretty obvious over the last 5 years that he's searching to be happier. But is that a path to be judged, or is that a path to be celebrated? Once you get out there with all of these political opinions and look for all of these fights, though, that's not a happy place. Like, it's hard to be fighting the entirety of the internet for 5 years, pretending you don't care about anybody's opinion when you're the guy who went to Mina Kimes' like wherever she was. You wanted to so badly be understood by the public that you did a magazine story where you went to where Mina Kimes was, her home, because you wanted so badly to be understood by the public. That's not the behavior of somebody who doesn't care to be understood. But I will tell you where it is that I have felt more loved by my wife than I have ever felt loved before. Wherever understanding and acceptance are, it's a craving. It's really strong, and you will find it around love, people who understand and accept you. Like, I don't know how much of that he's getting that would feel like fulfillment, understanding and acceptance, which is how you arrive at making a documentary that has access where you're showing everybody everything, or trying to.
It's crazy access, too. Like, there was cameras with him when he had a conversation with RFK. They didn't show it, but spoiler alert, they didn't show it, but, like, they showed him in the car driving back after going on a hike with RFK. And he's like, yeah, he just asked me to be vice president. So, like, that wasn't a rumor. That was like, he asked him that day to be his vice president, which is kind of wild. Then they have the camera crew go with him to Costa Rica to these ayahuasca retreats. Oh, boy, he's high.
Really?
He's he's playing a little drum there, and he's singing and dancing. Like, I love it. But that's his group. That group of people he finds to be, it's giving him what he's searching for. Then he goes to like this charity game days after this retreat. Man, Josh Allen comes out so nice. What a nice, loving guy. Just comes out, he's like, "Hey, buddy, how's it going? Great to see you." What a happy guy that guy is.
Josh Allen.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Funny face.
I'll let you know how episode 3 the tease was.
Right.
The whole vaccination situation.
You fell asleep in the third, huh?
You go. Well,
I do that every Sunday.
Well, the thing is like they're each like an hour and 6 minutes long. I start watching it. I have to pause, let the dogs out, do this whole thing. Yeah. And then like I come back, I'm dozing. And I could have tightened it up slightly, a little bit. But it's interesting. I would say if you really want to, and you don't have to, reserve judgment while you're watching it, and then maybe it's a more enjoyable experience, or you can get something out of it. If you go in there and you just want to hate Aaron Rodgers, you probably find things to hate him for.
If you're struggling to connect with family, friends, you know what you should do? Take them to a sporting event. Take them to a concert. And you know how you do that? You download the GameTime app. You create an account. You use code Dan. We'll get you $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Download the GameTime app today. Chris, what time is it? Game time. Who?
You asked yourself.
People don't know that. Theater of the Mind, Stugotz.
I like a new campaign with GameTime that begins with some form of, "Are you against sadness? Game time!"
I get happier when I go to sporting events with friends. When I go to concerts, I'm instantly happier.
That's right. Are you lonely? Game time will fix it.
It will.
I think you make a fair point about when Billy's talking about Aaron and his search for happiness and some of the stuff he's thrown himself into over the last, 4 or 5 years. He would find happiness, I would think, if he disconnected. He's too connected. Like, disconnect.
I would say that
Dan, you ever spend the day without your phone?
Yeah,
it's the greatest day of your life, I promise you.
Yes.
Don't you, like, always reach for your pocket? You're like, where is this thing at?
Yeah. I have a heater, though.
Are we overcomplicated this, though, with Aaron Rodgers? If he's the king of New York right now, if his time with the Jets has been a massive success and they're headed to the playoffs and they're really good, are we still talking about how unhappy he is?
That's a good question, because the harder the times are, the harder it is to celebrate joy with others. Like 4 and 10 is going to seep into every aspect of your life, no matter who you are playing for that team.
And torn Achilles.
Well, I mean, if you're to believe the documentary and the way that it sets it up, winning the Super Bowl is really kind of what set this all off, because he reached the pinnacle of what he thought would be happiness and realized, I'm not happy.
Well, but this
like
is-
I did absolutely
interesting.
everything that I wanted to do professionally, and I thought that would bring me the happiness. And then once I got there is when things really started feeling like this is not what I wanted to feel.
So this is what I will tell you from there, and this one's super interesting too. Tyson Fury, family, like everyone in the family's a street fighter. You get to heavyweight champion, and he looks up and he's like, "Here it is, all my dreams." Gains a bunch of weight, cocaine addiction, drinking, because all my dreams didn't look like I thought my dreams would look like. I will tell you, and you've heard me tell this story before, as a journalist, when I got to the sports reporters in Times Square at the ESPN zone and they were doing that show on Sundays, I'm like, this is the top of my profession. This is the highest place that there is. And I looked around and I was immediately made sad by, is this my dreams? The bar smells bad. They were throwing up and urine and chairs on the tables. Like this was
That was before the Cleveland.
This was last night. This was last night in Times Square. What do you imagine? How much do you think New York humped the ESPN zone in Times Square the night before? Like, what do you imagine that place was like in Times Square? A zoo. And the following morning, deeply unpleasant. And the coffee table that was there was from 30 years ago, and Bob Ryan's breath was morning breath.
Still caught up on humped.
Yeah, haven't heard that in a while.
Put it on the poll, please, Juju, at LeBatardShow. Do you ever use humped as a term for fornication?
I had a similar experience, Dan, the first time that I finally got a chance to be one of the panelists on Around the Horn. I thought that it was going to feel great, and it did. It's the best feeling I've ever had. I mean, seriously, I miss doing it. I miss Reali. I miss Sedano. I miss the crew. It's exactly what I expected, but more. I mean, how about that?
Well, that's why you're the industry titan that you are, joyously swinging from vine to vine, enjoying whatever candy there is out there. You did a great job, Greg Cody, with the gifts.
Thank
you.
you.
Stugotz has said Izzy is out there trying to rival you. Stugotz has said that this book,
This man can rap. I mean,
and the bigger
Rapping
gift.
that's your unicorn.
Okay,
Yeah,
that
that
is
was
the
a challenge.
unicorn.
Yeah.
That was a challenge.
That was a challenge.
These do seem like very well wrapped gifts. I'll give him that.
Thank you. I saw Izzy. Izzy's got rap game. I saw him.
Yeah, I saw it.
He was doing some good work
He
out
was
there.
just cutting paper.
A little heavy on the tape, but that would be my only critique.
I feel a little bit disappointed. I feel disappointed that that Izzy, immediately tried to wrap gifts to rival you, and you're just giving him a bit of a condescending. Yeah, you're pretty good too, kid.
I complimented his rap game.
You did, but you're
It's the KG
but,
bet,
but
right?
like Dave Hyde, he doesn't quite rise to the level of one Greg Cody, right?
Well, you said it.
You're being polite during the holidays. How did you feel about Izzy's rapping game?
I thought it was great. I would accept that gift. And I don't even know it was in there. But because he rapped it, I would accept it.
Wait, has there been a gift that's been poorly wrapped that you didn't accept?
Oh, I look down on badly wrapped gifts. Really? Yeah. I'm going to be very honest with you. My wife is a wonderful person.
What?
She sort of,
Oh, no.
goes really quick
Oh,
with
no.
the gift wrap.
Oh, no.
No,
Put
that's
it.
true.
No.
She probably buys 7 times the amount of gifts that you wrap.
At least.
That's what I mean. Like, she has a lot to wrap.
No.
But they're all coming in cardboard boxes on the
No.
doorstep. So.
Put it on the poll, please, at LeBatard Show. Do you look down on poorly wrapped gifts? Also, from and by your wife.
What's up, everybody? Tony here. Do you love sports betting as much as I do? Wish you can get that extra edge? Well, I've got great news for you. Masterclass, which I love, by the way, just dropped Bet Smart, Top Sports Betting Strategies, a game-changing course taught by GOATs, taught by the pros, such as Nick Kostos, Captain Jack Andrews, Joe Fotenbaugh. Learn directly from the pros as they share insider secrets on managing your bankroll, spotting hidden gems, and avoiding those rookie mistakes that could cost you big. I'm always looking for useful tips and tricks to improve my bankroll and just to be a better bettor in general. That's why I took the Bet Smart Top Sports Betting Strategies class. I consider myself a pretty confident bettor when I hear Rob Pizzola, when I hear Captain Jack break down the pros and the cons of flat staking, of protecting your bankroll against bad bets, a lot of different things that we don't think about as regular bettors. I realized I wasn't betting to my full potential, and that's why I love taking this class with Masterclass. Masterclass always has great offers during the holidays, sometimes up to as much as 50%. Head over to masterclass.com/DLB for the current offer. That's up to 50% off masterclass.com/DLB MLB, masterclass.com/DLB. And remember, all sports betting involves risk, and you're responsible for complying with all sports betting laws in your jurisdiction.
Dude, the Monday Night Football, man. I went to Raiders and Falcons. Pretty. It was a great experience, but I was surprised how many Falcons fans wore Deion Sanders jerseys.
Yeah.
But I thought there would be way more Michael Vicks, and there weren't. There was maybe 2 or 3.
They just started making those jerseys back available, actually.
Oh, for real?
Because they, like Mitchell and Ness and the people who make the Deions, they didn't do that.
Oh, so that's why. I'm like, this is a lot of. Because I remember when you had your Deion jerseys, they're like, wow, where'd you get that? And then I'm like, I didn't know there were this many Deion jerseys out there.
Right. Hey, mine from actually 1994.
Yeah,
that's not the here.
That's what I'm saying. Like you have one that was like a original prod, right?
I've rarely seen a game, and you mentioned that Monday night game, Falcons-Raiders, where I just look at it on the schedule and I'm like, why is this here? Why do I have 2 Monday night games? It's a terrible game I have no interest in. I mean, you went to it, so I guess it was good for you. But I just remember looking at the schedule and just being like, well, I'm cool if that game just doesn't happen.
It's not only a game that you didn't need. It immediately ends Kirk Cousins' career in Atlanta. We didn't even talk about that today, right. And they won it. The team that won it.
That's the wild part.
The team that won it with 15 points has ended Kirk Cousins' career, and the Raiders do nothing but lose. And that Antonio Pierce idea, not a great one.
Stat of the day.
Dan, there were a bunch of people walking around with signs that said "Just tank, baby." The Raider fan base is very into tanking.
Yeah. Juju, I wanted to get into a couple of things from today's show today, but what I'm really hoping, because I didn't see any of the feedback, and I stayed with it way too long, and I regret certain elements of it, but I hope. No, you're laughing at a different thing than I am, Chris, because
Michael K.
That too. Look, there were 3 or 4 times today that I stayed with something too long. But my favorite of the things that I stayed too long with was just trying to rummage around. What are you smiling about? Do you know what it is?
I know what I think you spent too much time on.
Give me. Let's see if it's the same thing.
Me versus Dave Hyde.
I love that so much.
Oh, God, I love it so much. I hate that so much.
Now, Juju, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, Juju, not what are your thoughts, but Juju, what did the audience think? Did I stay with that too long? Because Greg Cody was trying to be nice about things, but I noticed that when I put Dave Hyde in his company, he did not like it. I physically felt it next to me.
Dan, you are going to be pleased because that is not what the audience is ablaze about today, John. Okay. So you're safe.
All right. Is it Amin and Mike Ryan going back and forth at each other?
Look, they're always ablaze about something or other. I would like to start by just updating some polls first to give us some holiday cheer. You feel me?
Yes.
Our office Christmas party is a great time for enthusiasm and dreams or horrible obligations. And 85% of the audience said a horrible obligation.
That's higher than I thought.
That's on me.
That's all right. Juju.
It's not really cheerful.
Yeah.
Okay, how about this one? Okay, do you like this company office Christmas party? All right. 71% of the audience said no. Not really.
Happy holidays, everyone.
Really?
We're having 2 of these today. We're about to have a white elephant. Amin flew in from Vegas. Amin flew in for this.
Everyone keeps saying 2 of these. What's the other one?
We've got one
That's
tonight.
The one that they sent you. That's the 2 Americas. But I also it brought joy to my heart today because I know Greg don't listen to these post-game shows just routinely as I listen to the Greg Cody show featuring Greg Cody.
Yeah, thanks, Juju.
You did me.
Yeah.
But also he said that he want to see the 3-point layup. And if you refer to yesterday, I said, bruh, 3-point dunks. You feel me? If you dunk on somebody, 3 points. You feel me?
It was Juju's first.
I think I worked a Steve Martin in there if you listen back. I was like,
Juju had this many, many hours ago. He started changing the NBA rules long before Greg Cody started fixing the NBA.
Juju's one caveat was it has to be on someone, though. For it to be 3 points, you have to dunk over a defender.
Okay.
Yeah, and then we still got it to the point where we needed to say that, it still needs some workshopping. But I think me and you, Greg, can get in the lab and pretty much come up with something by, I say, top of the year.
Hello, let's have a meeting.
Yes,
a couple of them.
Hell yeah. And
Absolutely.
bro, they did a good. They tried to make it seem like he was in Vegas wasting time, bro. I was locked into the tournament. It wasn't as like I didn't see the performance from the OKC that I assumed I would get, but at the same time, I was thoroughly entertained. Thoroughly.
Yes, and the people were asking for you, Juju. A lot of people were like, "Where's Juju?" I said, "He'll be back."
Yes, sir. Appreciate you, bro. And I want to shout you out too during this Christmas holidays too. Like during the break I took, like, bro. Amin is one of the funniest people in the world. So him just sending me a little joke here and there, or him just checking in with me, it lifts my spirit so much. So in front of the whole world, bro, I want to say thank you, and I appreciate you and your friendship throughout, just since I've known you, bro.
Now you made it awkward.
That's nice. That's nice of you to say, but I will say that the most awkward thing here is how we all blew past Greg Cody's totally insincere offer to meet twice with Juju about changing the NBA's rules.
Well, we have to. You can't do it by phone. You got to meet. You're going to have an executive meeting. We'll have people taking notes and doing meeting stuff.
Yeah, but you're not going to do any of this. I want you to get together. You say, look, I've been waiting for it back in my day for about 6 months. You don't do anything around here that you say you're going to do.
Yeah, that kind of thing. I mean, we move on with life. We grow. We expand. I wrote a back in my day book. You want to hear back in my days? There's about 100 of them in here. Maybe 100, maybe 150 of them.
We've heard
Go
all
buy
those.
the book.
We've heard all.
No, you haven't, because some of them are original. Some of them have not been heard in 10 years.
We played the original here.
Three of them have been.
This is the
not
10th
heard.
anniversary book of Back in My Days. Right here.
Three of them have not been heard, and three of them are allegedly new, and one of them you've done here already.
Damn right I have.
Greg, I'm going to suggest something because I've thought about this for Black in My Day several times. If you pull one from like 7 years ago, will anyone remember?
Well, that's a good question. I will. That's
Only this one. Drawbridges.
Yeah, that's my all-time favorite. Yeah. See, he should rerun some of the best ones, but he won't do it. This guy.
Dan, also $100. $100 fine for killing Michael K in front of Michael K for some odd reason.
You always do that, Dan. When you're trying to celebrate someone, you kill them.
Yeah,
right.
That's true.
Whenever we find out the system, whenever we find out a new finding system, you're negative 100 already off the bat.
Okay, I want to celebrate people and have them hear the things that I'd say at their funeral while they're alive.
But it's your tone, though. It's just the way you say it. You're too right.
Yeah, he was like, bro, did you hear something about me? And salute to that whole segment, bro. Like that, I had a smile on my face the entire segment. Even David Sampson asked that. I was laughing at him today with the other brothers from the New York brothers.
Tutero.
They was I don't know, he's Caucasian, two Americas, but I love all three of them brothers. It was a great segment, and the whole time, bro, I was like, dang, this is what it feel like. Like this is the feeling that I had when I came into the show. Like the hijinks and just the fun. Like without attending your funeral, like that's brilliant.
Well, Juju, thank you. That hour felt very good to all of us if we're doing this in traditional post-game, let's break it down style. But I love the number of things about that hour, okay? One of my favorite things is that David Sampson got shoved right off to the side of his own segment
and was resentful for it.
And we couldn't get rid of Michael K. and Turturro. They didn't want to leave the show because, and this is a great question, why is Greg Cody wrapping gifts over there?
I was wondering the same thing.
I'm not sure Turturro knew how to get off.
Both of them at any point could have just closed their computer or just hit leave on the Zoom. But I don't think they both. My favorite part of that segment was that the two of them at the end were still staring in. And I will say to the audience, if you listen to this via audio, the thing that made me roar with laughing is that I was yelling at Lewis because I could see that Turturro and Kay were still there, kind of trapped. And I'm like, put them on the screen. Put them so that people can just see the confusion of why are Michael K. and Turturro staring at each other as Greg Cody wraps a gift.
So Dan, obviously I'm out there in the room where Greg is wrapping the gift, but we know his mic is hot. So all of us are kind of speaking in whispers and we're having side conversations. And at one point I remember looking up at the screen to see kind of what you guys were on. And I'm like, why is Nick Turturro and Michael K. still here? Like it was like 40 minutes later. I'm like, they're still here?
I had said goodbye to them already.
I know.
Bro, it was funny when Michael K. Michael K was like, if the Yankees would have did this or another, they could have easily went to L.A. and got their last game. And David Sampson, well, if I was 8 feet and could dunk, and Michael K was like, you won't and you won't.
You aren't and you won't. It was, I did kill Michael K. I will pay that fine at another time. Do you have anything else for us in the way of constructive criticism today? That Mike and Amin thing got heated over the defensive protection of basketball.
The people loved it.
Yeah, that definitely set the chat on fire. People love seeing it, and me personally, I can't tell what's a bit and what's real anymore, so I didn't lend any kind of emotion to it. I just saw it as two brothers who are talking shop, you know?
I will reveal to the audience, I was surprised afterwards. Mike was legitimately, like, offended. And so
you will not reveal any such thing to the audience. We don't reveal. That's not what we do.
Major penalty, 5 minutes, screwing comedy.
You hear that, brother?
We don't explain what the show is. Like, you want that to be the post game? Get your own post game show.
Well, look, all I know is I love that brother. Michael, if you can hear my voice, just know I love you. People still love you online. People love me. It was like a Team Edward, Team Jacob situation. And so I think it was a healthy banter. Sorry if anybody was offended. I'm sure that wasn't anybody's intentions. But just know that it was great content, and I'm sorry if anybody was offended in that.
Much love, Juju. Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Welcome to DraftKings Crowning Moments. It's when we take a look at some winners from the NFL weekend, shine a big old spotlight on those winners. So let's get you going right now. And we begin with Rico Dowdle. This dude's been on fire lately. A bettor out there really trusted the form that he'd been seeing lately and put $12,500 on Rico to hit the over 96.5 rushing and receiving yards at minus 115 odds. That cashed in at a massive $23,369.56. That is what domination looks like. $2,300 was our next bet, and it was put on Lamar Jackson to go over 45.5 rushing yards at minus 115 odds. Big boom. An easy, smooth payout of $4,300. Nice. Good job trusting the dual threat King Lamar Jackson. And here's a miracle $5 long shot. Juju Smith-Schuster to score the first touchdown in the 1 p.m. games at plus 9,000 odds, turning that $5 bet into an unbelievable $455. Crowning Moments is presented by DraftKings. Submit your winning bets for a chance to be featured. DraftKings, the crown is yours.